Wait for the Lord. Wait, I say, for the Lord. This is what we're called to do. To really help you appreciate the magnitude of this statement, to help you understand on a not just a theological level, but a prophetic level, I took you back to the Torah, back to Exodus 32. And there we saw Moses give very specific instructions to Israel. And he told them, wait here until I come back. The only thing about it is he didn't tell them the day he would come back, the day he would return. He just simply told them, you wait. You could tell, we know this just by reading the text. Israel had expectations in their own heart of when they thought Moshe should have come back. And when those expectations in their own heart were not met, that's when fear started to creep in. That's when the enemy started with the deception. And that's when they begin to take matters into their own hands. And they come to Aaron and they press him. And they said, you need to make us a God that is going to go before us, because as for our mediator, the one who brought us out of from Moses, we don't know where he is. We need a God. We're in the middle of nowhere. We need a protector. We need a savior. We need provision. Unfortunately, Aaron obliges and he tells him, break off the gold earrings in your ears. And this is where we pick it up. And Aaron received the gold from their hand, and he fashioned it with an engraving tool and made a molded calf. And so that term there for calf in the Hebrew is a gel. And it means just that. It means young bull. This is what he made. It's interesting, when you go to the Torah, you see classifications, and especially in creation, right? We have this classification, Chayat Hasadeh. And what is a Chayat Hasadeh, this classification? It's the beast of the field. That's the classification. What does he make? He makes a beast of the field. He made an image of the beast. See, this is where the story absolutely explodes. Why did they choose a golden calf? I mean, they just came out of Egypt. They've been in Egypt for hundreds of years. Why a golden calf? It's interesting. In Egypt, one of their primary gods, very well known, was Apis, a bull god. And even more interesting, carries the same motif of death and resurrection. Sometimes you can't make this stuff up. And you look at this motif that exists, and I look out through all the thousands of years, you keep seeing this play over and over again, these pagan gods dying and then resurrecting. Isn't it interesting? All of that testimony, it's like Satan leaving a testimony throughout the age, but culminates at the very end in the beast. Going back to Exodus, we're really going to dig into this. And Aaron received the gold from their hand, and he fashioned it with an engraving tool and made a molded calf. And again, he made an image of the beast. Look at how Israel responds to this. Then they said, this is your Elohim, O Israel, that brought you out of the land of Egypt. It is going to be important today that there are certain statements that you have to think about, you have to digest, and this is one of them. This is your God, O Israel, that brought you out of Egypt. Do you know that that is a term that belongs to the God of Israel alone? That this is how he is described? You can look throughout the Torah. In fact, when they're told, okay, when your children come to you and you say, oh, why are you keeping the commandments? Because my God, Yahweh, delivered me out of Egypt. When you keep the Passover, you can read go back to Exodus 13. Why would you keep the Passover? Because he delivered me out of Egypt. This is mind-blowing. Israel is going to the beast and saying, you're my salvation. You're the one that brought us out of Egypt. That statement belongs to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob alone. You know, in Ezekiel 28:2 is the statement of Satan. El ani moshav Elohim yeshavti. Satan says, I'm God, and I sit in the seat of God. Understand something. This is what Satan wants. All throughout the generations, what he wants is what he is getting right here. There's no greater accolades he could receive than worship that belongs to God alone. The scariest part of this, that will replay again. Christians are going to fall by the wayside. And we talked about this in the last message, that the Spirit, not man, the Spirit expressly says that in latter times, there are going to be Christians who depart from the faith, giving heed to deceiving spirits and doctrines of demons. They will not endure sound doctrine. They'll turn their ears away from the truth, and they'll be turned aside to fables, and they will worship the beast. It's coming. Moving forward, verse 5. And when Aaron saw it, I want you to understand what it means by saw it. He's not just simply referring, well, he saw the calf. He made the calf. He saw how the people responded and what they declared to this golden beast. This is what he saw. And look at how he responds. He built an altar before it. He built an altar before it. And I don't need to tell you that the altar is a centerpiece of worship, one of the most important vehicles of worshiping God. We're told that that's what staved off the wrath of God, is the priests serving at the altar. It's what keeps you in communion with God. It's the expression of worship. You bring offerings, burnt offerings and peace offerings to honor and pay homage to the one who blesses you, who provides, who saves you. I mean, this is an object of worship. And now Aaron, a shepherd that is supposed to be restraining Israel, is now facilitating the worship of the beast. It gets crazier. And Aaron made a proclamation and said, tomorrow is a feast to the Lord. Chag la Yahweh machar. And again, the statement is so important. Chag la Yahweh. This is where you're like, whoa, I cannot believe he just said that. And the reason I say that is this. Go back to chapter 10. Do you know it was Moses and Aaron that went to Pharaoh and said, we're leaving. We're taking our families, we're taking our kids, we're taking our cattle. We're out of here. We have to go celebrate. We have to keep a Chag la Yahweh. We have to keep a feast to the Lord. And turn a couple pages, go to Exodus 12, and it's reiterated in regard to the Passover, because this is the feast that they're called to keep. That is a celebration of the Lamb, of the blood of the Lamb. And now he is literally applying the tetragrammaton, the sacred name of God alone. He's applying this to this whole activity of worshiping the beast. That's called syncretism. That's called, are you kidding me? This frightens me because Aaron is whitewashing the worship of the beast. And you know, when you see Moses comes back, and this is farther ahead, but Moses come back, he grills Aaron and say, what did these people do to you that you caused them to commit such a great sin? What did you do? And Aaron's response, you know these people are bent on evil. Think about that statement, because it helps you understand this a little bit more, as though Aaron's like, okay, they're going to worship this thing. I built an altar before it, but we're going to go ahead and sanctify it and put a Jesus sticker on it. We're going to bless it with the name of Yahweh. And this activity, yes, is a festival to Yahweh. it makes you wonder that the conversations we'll be having very soon in regard to the worship of the beast, and what we're going to hear some Christians say that, well, Jesus wants you to receive the mark of the beast. Jesus would worship the beast. We should be worshiping the beast. It is going to be whitewashed. I mean, it's preserved in the Torah. We're given these little snippets of revelation to awaken our senses of what is coming. And then we move to verse 6. Then they rose early the next day, offered burnt offerings and brought peace offerings. Remember, Aaron said, tomorrow will be a feast to Yahweh. They got up early to pay homage to the beast that they're now using the name Yahweh for. This, you can't make this up. But then we read this. And the people sat down to eat and drink. You know, through the Torah, you can see that even between God and man between man and man, when a covenant is made, they would sit down and eat. To ratify this covenant, to solidify this covenant, to celebrate the covenant, there would be what is called a covenant meal. This is what we are seeing. They have made covenant with the beast. And now they're sitting down and eating. And then it adds this. And they rose up to play. In the Hebrew, the term is zahak. And it's typically translated as laugh. I want you to understand what is being said. They rose up to rejoice in their God. They are rejoicing in the beast. They're elated. There's a celebration happening. And so here you have this story in Exodus 32 of the children of God, who God himself redeemed. They're falling into idolatry. And the question is, how did this happen? It happened the moment they lost heart. It happened the moment that they chose not to wait on the Lord. Wait for Moshe to come back. And prophetically, this is exactly what's going to happen. It's going to happen to some Christians. They're going to fall. They're going to be taken. And so this story serves as a very strong prophetic warning.
Hey there, this is Mike at Corner Fringe Ministries. Thanks for watching our video. If you liked the video or it encouraged you, do us a favor. Hit the like button. Don't forget to hit the share. And if you haven't done so already, please hit the subscribe button. Now, if you want to watch the rest of this video, hit the button here. And if you want to watch the rest of this series, you can check it out here. And don't forget, you can download the Corner Fringe Ministries app today on any of your Play stores. Thanks for joining us at Corner Fringe Ministries.